Start.
Hello out there. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I don't know where you're watching me for. Once again, since it's in the love of season, I want to welcome you to say it is another time of that season, it's another week, it's another year that you've got to see to give that love in different way. My name is Dr. Julius Oluwasegun Aroba, the world's mindset surgeon. Right, this week I want to talk about the world system. System SYSTEM. System. As we all know, the world system stands for so many things that is connected. Just like I was talking in my master class yesterday, that in the world we live in, we have a lot of things that has to do with system. For you watching this, you're watching me via a system, maybe through a mobile phone that is connected to the internet. And in other words, it means that anything that is connected, it's called a system that can actually be molded. Right. The word system, I'm just going to keep it short using the KISS model. System, S is save, Y is yourself. The S following that is to serve, and the T is time, and the E is energy, and the last M is money. When you look at what I've just said now, save yourself, time, energy, and money, a system. Because when you have a system in place, you will be able to do anything. When we bring it back home, just like the topic of today, the system called vehicle for becoming rich and wealthy is what I want to talk about today. I believe you're following along. Wealth is created. Wealth is not in a location. Wealth is not the amount of things you have, but wealth is not genetically transferred. When I mean genetic, you can be born into a poor home and a rich home can be created from you. Irrespective of where you're born into, as a man, as a woman, we have no choice to be able to choose where we're going to be born into. Just like yourself. I know now, because of the days and time and modernization and the over time you've been able to age, you see a lot of things. You will be saying, I wish I was actually born in America. I wish I was born in Canada. But my friend, hey Zillionaire, never regret where you're born into, because wealth is within. Wealth is in people. Wealth is in what you do. Wealth is created. Wealth is actually can be generated from anything you do. The Holy Book, which is the Bible, says whatever thy hand findeth to do, do it with all thy might, with all thy strength, with all thy understanding. Right. I believe that you actually quite get the glimpse of what I'm talking about. How do you create wealth? You create wealth by having a system. That mobile phone, that laptop, that airtime, that place you go to work to report to, they have a system. Maybe for time clocking in when you sign is a system. Maybe the computer, they have an app that everybody must log into where they used to track whatever you do, is a system. Even as you're watching me through a system. When I'm saying that wealth is only created, it can be generic. It can't be transferred genetically. If you married a rich man or a rich woman, or having somebody who is actually wealthy as a partner, it doesn't make you to become wealth. That doesn't mean that you are also wealth. You only have association to what I call you're associated to a wealthy person or a rich person. And as you also know, there is a wise saying that you are the average of the 4 people or 5 people you speak to on a daily basis. And anybody you speak to, they make you or they mar you. But I want to know, have you ever sat down before to take an account of yourself, looking at a system called bank, or the account that you use is a system? You have a mobile phone, you have an online, you are able to. But now if you want to create wealth, you've got to know how to create a system. And again, there are ingredients that is required that you must be able to follow in wealth creation to create wealth. And also, when you're creating wealth, you've got to take the process, and what you build will build you. If you don't build things, people will build things for you. Is it that you consume things or you create things? But I don't know which one you are. I don't know if you've been able to sit down to build things, because when you build things, it will build yourself, it will build your generation, it will build your kids. They can take over on that business. It can also be for a community, it can also be for a state or a country. When you put a system in place, you'll be able to control the world. What are you building? Right. Creating wealth takes time. If you want to create wealth, you've got to be patient. There are some things that must go down for you to create wealth. And that is what I call the law of delayed gratification. Some things has to start. Maybe the amount of drinks you drink or consume on a daily basis. You don't know how many blocks you've actually consumed that you spend on that alcohol, on that food. Maybe you are thinking that it's not, when I'm talking about system, you see, the amount of drinks or bottle you drink, or pints of paint, if you are raised in England, we call it pints, that big cup, or maybe a jar in some African country or European countries. It depends on the kind of alcohol and how they serve you. But nevertheless, do you know that when you consume that bottle or that system called can, you've actually consumed a block if you are to build a house? Imagine in a day you drink up to about 10, or you smoke up to that X amount of kind of, I don't know how much it is, but you can convert it in your currency in dollars, in yen, in pounds, in Zimbabwe dollars, or in rands, or in naira, depending on where you're watching this from. But what are you building? Is there a system you're putting in place? Or are you somebody that always look for job when God is telling you, my son, my daughter, I've given you everything it takes for you to create a system. You read a lot of books, you've gone through schools, and you've not been able to create a system through that knowledge you've acquired. So what are you doing? What principle will you be following? Now, this kind of wealth I'm talking about, you need to actually have a proper diagnostics of everything you do. And when you want to have a proper diagnostics of these things, you've got to have a plan if you want to build a system. There's nobody that creates a system that does not build a plan. When you have a plan, you'll be able to create a certain present status for that system. There is no one thing that can give you or your next setup until you ascertain where you are going, or where you are, or what you want to be in the nearest future. How old are you? How old am I? What are the sources of my income? Where am I putting those sources of income? Is there a system I've been able to create? Are you thinking of having a passion for something you've not been able to create wealth for? And when I'm talking about this, principles are universal. They are contextual, but they are different from where your neighbor is at the moment. Principle of creating wealth: Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, or the whoever that is actually wealthy within your country of origin. It's the same principle they're all applying in one way or the other, because they put a system in place. They're able to account for your time. You are able to account for your time you spend in that work. And if you're working maybe as a project manager, that's why you have timelines to be able to keep track of everything. You track things because the system is in place. My question to you is, save yourself energy, time, and money. That system, have you been able to start looking at how to create and put proper things in place? Friends, fellow zillionaires that are watching me, great entrepreneurs that are watching me, do you know that there is nothing you can build in this day and age that if you don't have a system in place, there is no way you can be able to rule the world? Everybody that are wealthy today have a system. Think about it. The airtime you use, owned by the telcos, Telcom, Vodacom, mobile phone, T-Mobile, Orange Tree in the UK, or maybe MTN globally. They are all systems. Or the work where you're working. I don't know if you're working as oil and gas or as a doctor. It's a system because you've got to clock in. But friends, today, how can you be able to create a system? This one thing I want you to know, that nobody will ever investigate when you are poor in life. Have you ever seen anybody that is poor and people start investigating? Why are you poor? They only investigate those that are wealthy. They look for the source of income. So, if you want to be wealthy, are you part of the zillionaires community? Do you have the right knowledge? Do you have the right information to put a system in place? On the final note, you need a system to be able to create wealth. I want to say thank you for joining me on this episode, and I'll see you in our next episode. I remain your mind wealth surgeon, and my name is Dr. Julius Oluwasegun Aroba. God bless you. See you again. Bye for now.